Hey, so I wanted to do another video on the spread offense. I've received a ton of really good feedback from other coaches wanting drills and how we do things. But one coach sent me an email that I thought made a really good point that a lot of my teaching videos shows different AAU teams of, really good players operating the various offenses. And at the end of the day, when you have really good players, it makes anything look pretty good. So how would things look, taking a high school team through this stuff and seeing the good and the bad? And I thought that would be very useful to do. So last season was my first year at my current school, Centerburg High School in Ohio, and we ended up going 19-6, getting to a district final. We did have a good team. But at the same time, we went through a lot of growing pains, both offensively and defensively. So I thought it very beneficial to kind of put this together to see how the offense looks at the start of the season, and then as the season progresses and we get deeper into our schedule, to see the differences in what we do with the offense, how well we execute it. So you're going to see some really good stuff in this, and you're going to see some really bad stuff in this, which I think is a little bit more realistic than just seeing, really fancy highlights from kids making great plays. So we'll get started here with the first game of our season last year, where we were first learning the offense. This team just learned the offense a little bit in the summer and the preseason, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is maybe our first possession of the year. First quarter, first game, no score, and we're just starting. Now, I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts details of how spread works. If you want that, you can watch the first video on it where we kind of deep dive into the actions of the offense. This is going to be more picking up to where you kind of know what the offense does, and you're going to see how we progress with it. So to give you an idea, we've got, two first-team kids right here, player of the year right here, our three-point shooter, a really quick guard, and this was actually, she ended up being our sixth man much of the year, and our point guard isn't in yet. So we'll just pick up right here. Ball gets to a wing, and we're going to go right into first cut. So you can see already, we're just learning, not really screening. We've got decent movement. There's our two-man game. So now I think that spread is much more motion-like than some coaches believe. I think right here would be a great time to catch, rip, drive it middle. She's a good shooter. She's a really good shooter, and we should find something, but we end up driving it into all this traffic and getting nothing out of it. This is our first possession of the year, and I'm telling you, I think we run 45 seconds of offense and don't take a shot. So obviously not what we're wanting to do, but we're also passing up some looks as well, which you'll see. All right, so real quick, we really like this first cutter to try to cut to the basket, and we do this way too much. Curl to the outside. We want to go to the rim. And also look at the timing of the second cut. This isn't what we're wanting either. I really want the first cut to go and the second cutter to have a chance to make a read. Now, this girl who has the ball, and we spent a lot of time talking about roles as the season went on. She is not a driver. She is one of the best shooters in the league. She's 5'10". She didn't want to post up. She was a catch-and-shoot shooter, but that was her job, and she was really good at it. So where she thinks she's going here, I don't know. But she's not beating anyone to the bucket. So we get a reversal. We get into two-man game, which is good. Get stopped. And, again, we are really out of flow right now. First possession of the year. There's a pop. That's got to be a shot. She's a really good shooter. So that's a lot of time and nothing happening. So, again, we're a few minutes later on here in this game. It's now 7-0. Our defense was really strong this year. We forced a lot of turnovers. So right here is something that I really want to emphasize to coaches who are interested in running this. I think the real kind of secret sauce is this player right here, the second cutter. And this is where I talk about how it's a little bit more motion-like. We don't want to be robots. We give this kid about 5 different things that she can do, which seems like a lot, but it's very much based on her skill and what her defender is doing. So we'll get to some of those as we continue, but here's the first cut. We don't really set a very good screen there, but here comes the second cutter. That timing's pretty good. We want to give our screener time to set this one and then get to the elbow to set the next one. So now she's got to make a determination. And there's a lot of things that she can do. One of the best things, I think, is that cut right there to the opposite elbow. Really hard to guard that. And later on in the year, if we make that pass, that should be a layup. If you look at our girl on the opposite block, if she will know to dive the more we do this. She's a little slow, but that's going to be a layup later on in the year. All right, first cut, nothing there. There's that cut again. Really, really tough. If we can get it to her there, and that's the player of the year in the league. So if we can get it to her there, we're pretty confident that we can do something with it. All right, we try our throw and go, and the timing's all messed up. We're in 2-man game here. At this point, she should just be driving and maybe her setting a ball screen. So like I said, you're going to see good and bad. It's not going to all look like we're experts doing this. All right, don't really set a good screen, and you'll see that also being a trend is that we miss these screens a lot. First one, second one, and we'll get into that pop action more too as we continue. But we get a nice drive and a kick. You can see the score is 13-0, and it's not because there's our shooter. It's not because we're executing great offensively. Our defense just caused a lot of problems. All right, we're slow to get into 2-man game, kind of out of control, and we miss. First cut, we miss the screen. Second cut, we're just kind of jogging through. And we end up taking the worst shot in basketball, which is right here. So later on in the year, and the more we drilled this is going to be an open 3. Because her read here on this throw and go is, what does she do? If she's going to go under the handoff, that's going to be just a toss back wide open shot. And she's a really good shooter. So that right there, and we actually drill this every day. But it takes a while. It really does. It's different to do this stuff even in 3-on-3 drills than to do it in a game. So she goes under. That's got to be right there. Just shoot that 3. She's a really good shooter. Instead, she takes that. We don't want that. That's a very inefficient shot. Even if it goes in, I'm not particularly happy with that. We get it moving. First cut. Now let's watch this. A big part of this. Again, this is one of the fastest players in our league. And we really stress we need to attack. This is not just something where we're always just looking, the pass and cut and looking for cutters. If you can beat your girl, you got to go. And if you do, you got to do it quick. Because if she waits, remember, this is our first cutter. So if she holds it and this girl cuts through, there's some traffic there. But she is so quick, we want her to do that whenever she can. All right, second half, as you can see, it's kind of out of hand here. But we're still not running it, I don't think, particularly well. We're getting the ball into 2-man game. Good first cut, but we don't even – this girl has to understand when this ball gets past here, where's the screen? It's going to be here. So – you can see this on this pass. She should be angling right now to get a piece of this player, but she's not. It's our first game. She falls asleep. The cut is still open, ironically enough. Our second cutter's coming in, trying to get a post up, but you can see we're not very crisp right now. Even though the score's out of hand, we got to do better. So here's another example of where we're just not doing things right. We go into 2-man game. This girl's she can shoot, but she's really good around the rim. We want her diving hard to the bucket. But now our spacing is all messed up. We end up scoring on this, but it's all because of pretty bad defense. That's not, we scored, but we're not executing very well. Game 1 of the season. All right, here's the next game. And you'll start to see us, doing a little bit better as the season goes on. All right, there's our first cut. Let's watch and see if she goes to the rim or what happens here. There's our There's our pass. She should be going right here. The ball's on this wing. She should be running to the rim, not going around for that screen. That's not what we want. Go to the bucket. There's that straight cut we talked about. If she dives hard, we're going to get something. She's a little late, but you can see how that could develop. Trying to get it inside, which we definitely want to do. First cut into 2 minutes. That's really good. Now this we will take. We'll take this shot with her every time. Even though 2-man game was going to be wide open, that would be an open shot too. Really good 3-point shooter, even though she misses this pretty bad. I'm still okay with that. All right, first cut, second cut. We really, she's very, very good around the basket, and not all turnovers are the same. We're still not setting these screens very well, but we're going to try to get that to her there every time we can. Goes through her hands here, but that's if she catches that, she's going to score that. Okay. You're starting to see us run the offense. We're still not screening very well. I do want to go over this action right here because you'll see a lot of this. This little pop action is a really good part of the offense for us. We're a little bit late with that, but she's a good shooter, and we get her a lot on that. All right, so here's that second cut again. So we flash here. That's really got to go to her. She was a very good player. We got to get that ball right there, and good things are going to happen. We're either going to get a drive or a kick out three. But we skip it. We're late to go into 2-man game. Something else that we drill on the flight of that pass, she should already be going. But we're a little late. And again, we don't want the ball to stick. So on this pass, we want shot, drive, or reverse. If we have a high-low, we'll take it, but that's got to go right here. But we're just a little late. We ended up taking a really bad shot on this possession. But again, this is like our maybe third or fourth game of the year, so we're still, we don't like that shot. Even though we get an offensive board and a foul, not happy with that possession. All right, so our driving opportunities in the offense, this is really important stuff. So when we get this, we want her to go a little sooner than this, but since she's going to pop most of the time, being able to take the ball to the basket, especially going baseline, is pretty important. All right, first cut. Again, we keep doing this little loop cut, which I don't love. But we hit our 45, and on the 45, we like weak side cuts, which you'll see here in a second. We're late to do it, but it's just kind of, oh yeah, I forgot. I have to cut, and we get an easy one. All right. Again, not a great first cut, and we do get a lot better at this as the season goes on, even though we do finally set a screen here. All right, there's our pop again. And we get this one. So it amazes me how often this is open. And you'll see it happen over and over again. So there's our cut. This girl is guarding our shooter. And she drifts up, and it's just amazing to me how often we got that. All right. This team was a good defensive team. We ended up winning this one, but they were a heavy pack line team, which can give us some problems sometimes. But now, if you remember, this same kid, when she got the ball in this position last time, she kind of paused. Here, she goes immediately, and we end up getting this. That's why we don't want the ball to stick. All right. We normally don't like this pass to the first cutter because I feel like we're throwing her in jail a little bit. But this is also kind of a callback to one of those earlier clips to where when that ball goes here, if this post player will read that and dive, and we're throwing this to our point guard, and you'll see her right when she catches it, she's looking. Where is she? Where is she? And then it kind of clicks in, and we get a layup. All right, first cut. There's that pop again. And you just see this happen over and over again. And teams are scouting us. It's not like they don't know what we're running. But so many teams teach that deep help. All right, no screen. And we're also cutting to the corner. I just, even watching this back, I get a little frustrated because we want her to go to the rim. All right, but once again, we get our shooter on a pop. I'm telling you, it just happens over and over again. All right, first cut, not a good screen, not a great cut. Again, even though we're ahead in this game, I'm still not very happy with how this looks. So we end up turning this over, and I should probably explain why. So first of all, these cuts aren't going to get it done. We're cutting at the same time. Our timing is off. We're not sprinting our cuts. But we do get into two-man game. This should probably be a throw and go instead of a ball screen. And if it is a ball screen, she has to keep going here. This should be a drive. This girl can read it and sneak in here. What we don't want, and we should be dead running here because this is our shooter. What we don't want is to pick up our dribble and then try to skip it and throw it over a taller player, right? So she's 23, should be rolling. Our shooter should be sprinting in here to the throwback spot, and we might get an open three here if she runs to this spot and if she would bounce it out how she's supposed to. But again, kids are going to screw up. All right, now we go throw and go, and this is what we're trying to get. Much better execution. All right, so only a few clips from this game. We won this one kind of handily. This team was a no-middle defense, so they really emphasized deep help and forcing it baseline, and we really took advantage of that. We did a good job of just trying to attack when we got the ball. And you can see now, I think, she was trying to get the ball to the shooter, that we're also doing a better job now of just playing basketball out of this. We don't want to be robots. Like, this is a great example of, just being players. So let's explain here what happened. So there's the first cutter. She didn't get it. She pops instead of cutting, which is fine. And we don't throw it to her. Instead, we throw it to the slot person. Now, this is supposed to be a throw and go, but she's already here. This is just organically happening at this point. And we back cut and score. As the season got deeper, we just got better at playing basketball out of the formation. And here's another great example of that. Again, this isn't something that we drew up. We did tell our cutter, look, if you will cut to the rim, if you get face cut, maybe you can seal and get a skip. So we did that. Our middle player just dives, and we get an easy one. We're just playing basketball out of it. You don't want your kids just to be robots. All right, there's the pop again. Now, she's a good shooter, but she's really good at the rim. And again, they play deep help. We do our L cut. She's supposed to dive. She does. I mean, that's really well done. And that comes from a lot of drilling. All right, just a little entry action to get into the offense. Again, no screen. We miss this. I think she gets fouled. But again, going on, and we're going to be adding some stuff to our offense this season. But the one thing we're really going to stress is, hey, can we please get a piece on that first screen? Everything gets better if we can do that. All right. Moving it. Not great action yet. Okay, so I put this in. We put our shooter sometimes in the middle, and we would run some stuff for her, which I might get to later on. But again, look at our timing on this cut. Still not where we want it to be. This is actually a rematch with that team that we lost to in double overtime. As you can see, we got them at home now, and we're putting it on them. But still, I want 21 to wait. I don't want them necessarily going at the same time because I think it allows one person to potentially guard two if they're down here without some spacing. Even though we get into two-man game here, that's fine. She was never going to roll. That just wasn't who she was. But we told that player, hey, look, if you get into two-man game, we want you to pop. And she does. She gets a really good look here. Even though it doesn't go in, we get an offensive board. But that wasn't bad. All right. Different player now in the middle. This is more of our physical screener. She was the best screener of the bunch. She's actually like that's all we're talking about. We're not talking about bone jarring screens here. Just make sure that you can delay that and make these kids make a decision. Make the cutter and the person guarding the post, are they switching? Are they not switching? And sometimes they'll screw it up. Like right here, both of them kind of go after the cutter. We run our L cut, which is just open all day. Then we get our dive. And if you see, there's a switch there. That's not who was originally guarding the girl in the middle. That's a little guard, and that's one of the strongest kids in the league. And that's really what we're trying to get. That was really well executed. Okay. I honestly don't know what happens here. All right, see, we're trying to set a screen here. That might have been a mildly illegal, but that's all right. Just kind of gets in the way, and that sets this up. I think, yep, we missed this, but boy, that's a really good look. And as you can see, we're really putting it on this team right now. All right, second cut. All right, I put this in even though this is a turnover because I liked what we're looking at. First cut to the rim, which is what we want. Okay, first cut goes to the rim. Second cut, we want to post up. If she would come to the ball here, we would secure that. I don't mind that look at all. Okay, so now we're really deep into the season, and this was one of the better teams in the league. But it's getting pretty deep in the season, and you're going to see things. I think you're going to see us running the offense a lot crisper. Everything's moving faster. We're being more aggressive. And that's really the point of me wanting to show you this video. We're 15, 16 games probably into the season at this point. Even though, teams started playing us zone a lot because we were kind of a tough matchup. But again, we're still, she's afraid of getting illegal screens called, so she's basically just standing there now. But we are cutting to the rim, and that just puts more pressure on the defense. If you just circle cut out here every time, it doesn't. That just clears everything up, and it leads to this. And she's really good from there. I'm not a big fan of mid-range jumpers, but I will take that with her because she can shoot them. All right, let's see what we get here. So that's why I love this kid, because she's so smart. It's like, okay, I know when that ball goes, she's looking. If that ball goes there, I'm looking. She's waiting. She knows who she's going to screen. And, she wasn't a big scorer, but if you get kids on your team that buy in to what you do, we get a piece of her. That's all we're trying to do. And that leads to that, which now she ends up getting her shot blocked here, which, it happens. But, we want to get the ball here. But because we set that screen and cut to the rim, and our timing is so much better now, we're not cutting at the exact same time. We don't have two people diving here simultaneously. So that second cut, she's got to respect her because she can shoot. That's what clears that up right there, even though she gets her shot blocked. All right, same team, like 2 games later. And you're really going to start to see how powerful I think this offense can be. All right, so let's talk about this right here. We really started to emphasize this because most teams would now see, hey, they're going to do this little, L cut and pop. Well, we would call this a pop and curl. And, man, this was hard to guard. So first cutter goes through, we pop, then we go. And, again, watch her defender. So many teams saw that, hey, they just like to pop and skip it for a shot or a drive. You can see she's coming up and she's beat right now. Really tough to deal with that. All right. Not entirely sure what happens here, so let's see. All right, we're getting in the middle. First cut, second cut, that's okay. Ball's moving, don't like it to stick. Move it, move it. Good. I like the fact that we're being patient here. Still want to get that ball moving. There's a good rim cut. And we get a throw and go. This is such good patience. And you get a really good understanding of what, if you can continue to run some actions, all it's going to take, man, is one player to screw up. We get a good rim cut. She's got to honor it. She 45s. It clears everything out. So they're in trouble right now. Yeah, that's really good. And that was very early in the game as well. Back cut, not there. That's good. First cut, second cut. All right, so this is also a callback to an earlier play, how we talked about, hey, look, if you're in two-man game and you do a throw and go, or you're going to come for a ball screen, if they go under, and if you're a shooter, you have to make them respect it. That's just from a lot of drill work and them understanding more how the offense works. Well done. All right, next possession. Again, it's still kind of early in the game, and we do end up winning this, which secured the league championship, actually. All right, there it is again, and we draw a foul. Let's watch it. So same action that we did earlier. We pop, she commits, and we curl. Draws a foul. Really good. When that second cutter can really do a good job of making the right reads, man, this offense becomes really hard to guard. All right, I like this a lot. That's just a really good player making a play. But, again, there's our first cut. I'd kind of like that to go to the rim instead of the curl, but whatever. We pop out. Watch her. She thinks, oh, boy, she's popping out for that three, and she goes. She throws it early. I mean, we might get another layup here or a kick-out three. But 23 just makes a really nice play. All right. First cut. Pop and curl again. That should probably go to the corner. We ended up turning this over. Our shooter standing right there. That probably should go there. But that was a good play by the defense. All right. Getting set up again. First one. Pop. Yep. And, we're not even really sprinting this cut. You can see our kid here is really just she's not even kind of just jogging. But they think that they're going to throw it to her, and then she curls it. That's an and one and a huge play in the third quarter. Okay, so this is our senior night. We'd already secured the league championship, but you'll see some more actions here. This is another just a really good example of what you can do in two-man game. These are two really good players. We're handing it off, and then they switch, and she just can't guard her. Cutting to the rim now. I love this. Even though we missed this, we were finally starting to realize, okay, if most teams are taught sink to the ball. We drive, and that's going to leave this little safety pass wide open. She's a good shooter. She misses this, but, man, we will take that. All right. We got our screener back in the middle. All right, so I put this in for a specific reason. We actually have a lot of calls in spread, and I didn't want to go over too much of that, but one of the calls that we had would get a shot for our middle player, and even though she's known as a screener, she's actually a decent shooter. So we're cutting, then our second cutter screens for the 5. And we would run that for our shooter as well. First cut, second cut, we're looking to skip, and we're going to get it to our playmaker, and then she's just going to go make a play. And we draw a foul. This is actually a tournament game. I think the second round of the tournament. First cut, there's the pop, and I love this. Even though it gets deflected, we're finally starting to see, hey, there's so many different options that you can do here. So there's the first cut. Our shooter pops. We tell the 5, if that girl pops, you have to dive. And she does. We're just late getting it there. But you can see the benefits of doing that. First cut, second cut. We don't go 2-man game. Okay, we do ball screen. And ball doesn't stick. I love that. Even though we don't score here, we're understanding that we don't want to just hold the ball. First cut. We go 2-man game. Good. That's really well done. Ball screen, great move. That's just a really good player making a really good play. But the whole idea is for you to see a lot of the different options that you're going to get out of this. And this is really us just running the base offense. This is great action here. I mean, I think you can tell at this point how much we've been running it and drilling it. You can just see the pace of this, right? Pop, there's our cut. We try to get a screen, not there. Drive it, skip it, right in the 2-man game. Love it. Even though she fumbles the ball a little bit, that's all right. We're really running this offense with so much more pace now, and it just makes it so much harder to guard. All right, getting back into it. Same possession. Love it. Same possession. There's our pop and curl on a bucket. All right, we're up 8, third quarter. All right, so there's finally you'll see another second cutter scoring here. So we move it, first cut, and we just curl right off. Again, this kid's got 21, has multiple things that she can do. She can direct 45 cut to the opposite block. She can pop. She can pop and curl. She can straight cut. She decides just to curl it, which was the right decision. And also notice the timing is better. They're not necessarily going right at the same time. She's almost out to the corner when she's making her cut, which is what we want. And that leads right to this. All right, into the third quarter. Again, our pacing, you just got to be able to tell that our pacing is so much better. Okay, so only a couple of clips from this game. This was the district final, and we lost this game to the eventual state champion in our division. We were big underdogs in this game. I was so proud of our kids. They actually got up 18-3 on us. We actually cut it to 10. I was really, really proud of how the kids played. And you'll see, again, just how much better I thought we got as the season went on. There's first cut, a backdoor cut on the second cut, again, against an outstanding team. And then we started to say, hey, you know what? When these teams start overplaying, there's so many backdoor opportunities. Yeah, we're down 33-19. This cuts it to 12. Just really proud of our kids. Just to give you an idea of how much better we got operating the offense. So on the whole, I thought our first year running spread was successful. When I went back and tracked everything, I think our points per possession was right around 0.9, which I was happy with. I want that to get better this year. They'll start to see a little bit more of the options that we have in the offense. And I think when you look at this, the less the kids are robots and the more they can make reads inside any offense. I don't care if you're running circle, flex, blocker, mover, pistol, whatever. You've got to be able to play basketball outside the confines of what the continuity is. And if you can get your kids to do that, you're going to have success. So I hope that this was helpful, just to show you a high school team running the offense and not a team that's just filled with nothing but college players. Overall, I've been really happy with it. I've had people ask me, hey, do you like European ball screen or circle or pistol or spread? What do you like best? And my advice is always the same. It just depends on the team that you have. I think our job as coaches, tactically, is to put our specific kids each year in a position to be successful, regardless of what the offense or defense that you're running may be. I'm not necessarily a system guy that's like, hey, we're going to do this every year. I think you have to have some flexibility in high school unless you're able to go out and recruit players. But that's a story for another time. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll get something else up later. Thanks.